In this video on how to visualize an SQL query in a business intelligence tool, you will learn why decision makers should work with a visualization tool, what a business intelligence or BI tool is for, how to install the Metabase BI tool, how to establish a connection to the database with Metabase, how to parameterize an SQL query with Metabase, and how to visualize a query result in Metabase. We can create value with data by supporting decisions. This is best done when the results of data analysis are communicated to decision makers in an understandable way. This is why data visualization is so important. This is schematically represented by NIST's Big Data Reference Architecture. Database value creation has two dimensions. The first is technology value creation. Technology value creation builds ever larger technical systems on top of each other. This starts with infrastructure, networking, computing, and storage. Then, on top of this, we can build platforms, data organization, and distribution. Based on platforms, there is processing of data, computing, and analytics. And finally, on top of processing, we have real applications for end users. The second dimension of value creation with data is information value chain. In the information value chain, the application takes data from a data provider, collects the data is prepared for analytics, then analytics is done on the data. Finally, the results of this analytic process is visualized in a way that decision makers can understand, and access is provided to these visualizations. And data consumers, usually decision makers, can now access visualizations of data analytics based on preparations and collections of data provided by a data provider. So, the final step in database value creation, and also the step which is the most valuable in terms of information and technology value chain, is visualization and access. And BI tools are software applications that provide visualization and access to the results of data analytics. A business intelligence tool is a software application for database visualization and for regulating access to data analytics results. Accordingly, such tools provide the final step in the data value creation process. They deliver the data analysis results to the data consumers. BI tools allow less technical users to create and view data analysis in a graphical user interface. With BI tools, decision makers can, among other things, connect to a database server, configure database queries graphically, generate detailed tabular reports, create, view, and manipulate interactive charts and visualizations, and they can access visual decision dashboards. One example of a BI tool is the open source software Metabase. We will use this here as an example for visualization of movie recommendations. Now we will install Metabase. First, we need to check if Java is installed. Metabase is a Java program. The Java environment allows to run a jar file on all platforms that support Java, for example Windows, Mac or Linux. Therefore, you must install Java 11 or higher before you can run the Metabase jar program. This way you can check if you already have Java installed in the correct version. Open the command line or the terminal. In Windows, you can press the Windows key along with the R key and type the string cmd and then press enter. On a Mac, press Command key along with the spacebar and type terminal and then press enter. Now we can type java -version followed by the enter key. If Java is installed, the command line will report which version. As we can see, I have installed OpenJDK, the Java development kit, in the version 11. If Java is not installed, there will be an error that the command Java is not recognized. If Java is not present or if Java has a version number lower than this, you must install Java first. If Java is not yet installed or not installed in the correct version, follow these steps. Open the website adoptium.net. Click on latest LTS release. Open the JDK installation file that you have just downloaded. Run the downloaded installation file. To do this, you must allow the program to make changes to the device and agree to the terms of the license. Okay, now that you have Java installed, you can load and run the Metabase software. Search the internet for Metabase Open Source Edition. Click on the download link in the jar section and load the Metabase jar file. Create a folder on your computer where you want to store Metabase and copy the file there. Now you can launch Metabase. Open the command line. Now change to the folder where you copied Metabase. Then enter the following command line. Java -jar metabase.jar. And then you can hit enter. Attention, do not double-click the jar file. If you do, you cannot shut down the Metabase server gracefully. However, if you launch Metabase jar using the Java command in command line, there you can shut down the server by using the key combination Ctrl+C, hitting the Ctrl and the C button together. Okay, now we wait until the command line reaches a stable state, and then we can open the browser, and here we can go to localhost port 3000. That's where Metabase runs. Okay. Now we have launched Metabase. Once we have installed and launched Metabase, we can configure it to access our database. as you can see, I have a database here called visualization, which contains 3 views on database tables. Movies, rating numbers, and ratings 5 MIS, which contains 5-star ratings. The query that I want to visualize is this. I select the number of 5-star ratings overall and also the number of 5-star ratings from a target group. The target group is the group of user IDs that has seen a given movie. And then I sort all the other movies by the number of 5-star ratings by the target group. For example, for the movie with ID 1097, which is E.T. the Extraterrestrial, we can see that a list of movie recommendations is provided this way. Now I can configure Metabase to access this database. We click Let's get started. I choose a language. Here I have to enter name, email address, and company. Also choose a secure password here. Then to configure the database connection, I choose MySQL. The display name is the name of the database that is displayed in Metabase. I choose movie recommendation. The host in this example is the local host, because the Metabase server and the MySQL server run on the same machine. Port is 3306. Database name, as we have seen, visualization. As a username, I choose GUI for graphical user interface. We can see here I have created a user which has restricted read access. It can only select on the database visualization. And this database only contains views to other databases and tables within them. So this is to secure the database by giving restricted read access. However, a Metabase needs read access on the whole database, not just on single tables. Otherwise, certain features such as displaying the tables in the database will not work. So what I recommend is to create a specific database only for Metabase visualizations and putting views to important tables in there to shield a Metabase from unrestricted access to other databases. However, this is harder to configure. If you just want to try out Metabase, you can also connect using the root user, which is insecure but easier to configure for development or educational purposes. Okay, so I connect to the user GUI and I enter the password . Now I can click Connect Database and finish. Okay, I have now configured Metabase and I can start to visualize my SQL query. Here I choose New SQL Query, and I choose the database connection I have just configured. And I copy my query to Metabase. Okay, I save this query under a name, for example, recommend a movie. I could add this to a dashboard, but I don't want to do this now, so let's click Not Now. I can run the query using this button here. Here I see the same results as I saw in my SQL workbench. Now the next step is I would like to parameterize this query. This means that instead of putting a single movie ID for recommendations, I would like to let the user choose a movie, and not by movie ID but by searching for titles. For this I can use a filter in Metabase. So instead of providing one movie ID, I enter a subquery here, which selects a movie ID from the view movies. Where, and now here I add Metabase specific syntax. I use a double brace and then the name filter, and here you see the dialog on variables pops up, and here I can choose what kind of filter I want to add. Here I need a field filter, and I would like to choose movies by title, so I configure this. The widget type here is string. The label is the label that will be displayed here in the user interface. So I choose here I would also suggest to make this parameter required and to enter a default value, for example, Star Trek. Now I can run the query again. And we see we get recommendations for Star Trek. I can add another movie, for example, Star Wars. I would like to get recommendations for Star Wars Episode 1. So, okay, I have a parameter now. And the next step is to visualize the results of this movie recommendation. I use a scatter plot here. Under data, I select the x-axis, and here I use the ratings all, so the number of 5-star ratings by all users. And on the y-axis, I choose n ratings 5 target, the number of 5-star ratings by the target group. Now I see a visualization here. And we see data points, recommended movies, and there are 2 dimensions now. So the higher up a recommendation is, the more 5-star rating it has by your target group. So the more likely it is a good recommendation. The further out it is on the x-axis, the more ratings it has overall. So now we have visualized the result of an SQL query that is also parameterized and can be used by decision makers. There are some challenges left. So first, the movie for which we want to create a recommendation still appears in the visualization. So one challenge is to adjust the SQL query so that the list of recommended movies does not contain the originally selected target movie. A second challenge would be to create a dashboard in Metabase where you can display the analysis. And a third challenge is to adjust this visualization. The goal is that the size of the data points, the bubble size, which can be selected here, displays the value of a third dimension. For example, the budget of a movie. For this, you will have to adjust the underlying SQL statements. So this is how you can visualize the results of an SQL query using a business intelligence tool such as Metabase. Thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.